We better get going. So I look decent on camera. I guess I have to wear my suit coat. It's hot, so that's okay. I'm used to being in the hot seat, so I guess it helped if I took the. Yeah. Okay, depression and anxiety. That's what we're going to talk about, and it's kind of an interesting topic because for years I watched as different things happen to our brains, and our brains have been affected by the toxins, fungus, bacteria, viruses, and even parasites have been getting in our brain. This is a picture of a brain that has been exposed to a black fungus. This was actually dissected out of somebody, and they had affected all the parts of the brain. The fungus loves to go to the high serotonin areas and eat the serotonin producing cells. And you know what serotonin is? It's the happy hormone that helps us stay happy with our life and feeling good. And this fungus likes to feel good because it eats up all our serotonin receptor sites. And this is really interesting. Depression in 1985, which is when I actually started dealing with patients. It's quite interesting. Utah had one of the higher rates of depression in the West, but it was still less than 10%. And you know, a couple of the southern states, South Carolina, Georgia, were kind of suppressed. Some of the Midwest states, Wisconsin, North Dakota, these were the main depressed places with 10 to 14%, which isn't really that high when you look at the rates later on. Now here we see it's all increased over the United States tremendously. I love these kind of pictures. I've been looking for these and I finally found them so I could put them in my presentation because it demonstrates how prevalent depression has become. Most of these dark states, it's above 25%, which is 1 in 4 people, and they're getting these statistics from doctors' diagnosis, and they're all on antidepressants. Anxiety and insomnia. This shows, Utah's pretty dang high. North Dakota, believe it or not, this is 1986, and we had quite high rates of anxiety. We had a lot of people on Valium here in Utah. Yeah, and a lot of them got hooked on it because Valium's very addictive. And so, are we really losing our minds, or is something happening to make our minds stressed out? Anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and I'm going to discuss how to bring it back and how we can communicate with both sides of our brains better and feed our brains better. So exercising your brain has been shown to increase oxygenation, increase metabolism, and decrease depression, anxiety, and panic. And breathing deeply. Now, I love to teach breathing because breathing is so beneficial for the body. It's the easiest way to go from acidity to alkaline. When we're acidic in our body, we have a lot of carboxylic acid, which is a combination of water and carbon dioxide. And by breathing out that carbon dioxide, we get rid of the carboxylic acid, and we actually make it into bicarbonate, which is actually the best neutralizer of acid there is. Okay, so I'm going to teach a breathing technique that I've taught many, many times, and I'm going to do it according to the glands, because this is very good for depression too. This is one of various techniques I teach. And so what I like to do is take a big deep cleansing breath, where you just take a big deep breath in through the nose. Always breathe in your nose because that aerates it and humidifies the breath. and it also stimulates the receptors in your nose and in the brain. So breathe in through the nose, and then just let go of everything that you're worried about, anything that's causing you duress, just kind of let it go. And then I take a big deep breath. This one's kind of an interesting one because I start with the top chakra. So let's visualize light and love coming down from source, down in through our cerebral chakra, which is our connection to the heavenly energy. And visualize it coming down into the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the main gland that connects us to God, and it's been shut down in a lot of us. And visualize it coming in and making it bright and shiny, reverberating your pineal gland, making it produce the serotonin and melatonin, so you're happier, you sleep better, and the energy go up and down your body, settle back in your heart with love. You process everything with love in your heart, because that's where the goodness is in the love. Okay, now let's go to the pituitary gland. Breathe in, and breathe it into your pituitary gland, which is behind the third eye, down near the pineal, but the hypothalamus and the thalamus are in between. Breathe that in and make it bright and shiny. Get all the fungus, virus, any parasites out that might be there, and let the energy go up and down your body and settle back in your heart with love. We can move a lot of things out of our brain by just visualizing and seeing them leave, which is very good. So next, let's go to the throat chakra, which is your thyroid, parathyroids, and breathe in the prana and have it make your thyroid work better, your parathyroids work better, which affect your calcium intake into your bones and the phosphorus and magnesium. Let the energy go up and down your body, settle back in your heart with love. Then visualize it coming into your heart. Big deep breath in through the nose. Have it visualize it hitting your thymus gland, which is the gland associated with the heart. It's your main immune gland. Let that energy vibrate. Remove any fungus, virus, parasites that might be in there. The energy go up and down your body, settle back in your heart with love. Then visualize it coming into the solar plexus, which is your main emotional center, and it affects all the organs of your intestines, your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Have it visualize it getting powerful and strong and removing any parasites, fungus, virus, or bad bacteria that may be there, and the energy go up and down your body, settle back in your heart with love. Then visualize it coming in through your sacral plexus. Bring it in and have it, in women, have it hit the vagina, the cervix, the uterus, the tubes, the ovaries. Even if you don't have them energetically, they're still there. Have it perfect. And in men, bring it in through the penis, through the prostate, through the testicles, and have all the energy get bright and shiny and make the organs work perfectly and produce the hormones they're supposed to. The energy go up and down your body, settle back in your heart with love. Then visualize you growing roots down into the earth from your feet. So you breathe in and breathe the energy in from deep in the planet and bring it up and have it help your kidneys and adrenal glands, which are the glands associated with the root chakra, and have them get bright, shiny, reverberating, the energy really good, your kidneys working good, your adrenal glands producing the hormones and the mineral corticoids they're supposed to produce, and the energy go up and down your body, settle back in your heart with love. And then I take a big deep breath, connected to the earth, connected to the heavens. Breathe in and bring that energy in and just make your whole body just visualize it being perfect and working perfectly. And I release any negative energy and I uncreate it so it doesn't bother anything else. So it's a good way to change your pH and get your brain working properly.
Have you ever recorded that stuff?
What's that?
Have you ever recorded that?
Yes, I've got it on a recording. So breathing deeply for your brain, doing yoga, doing all kinds of different things really help with depression because it changes the pH. Fungus likes a lower pH. It actually functions better when your pH is about 6.9, 6.8. So it loves and it puts out toxins that actually bring your pH down and make you more acidic. Fungus, if you think about it, is what takes sugar and makes it into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So when you're LDS, you like to go out and eat ice cream. And they found that one scoop of ice cream within 20 minutes with the fungus in your body becomes about a ½ ounce of alcohol, which is quite interesting. That's why everybody likes 2 scoops. So anyway, this shows levels, believe it or not, of sugar consumption in the United States. And in 1990, we were eating quite a bit of sugar. 2000, we were eating even more. 2010, even more. And the rates of depression follow the fungus and the sugar. So it's quite a graphic slide showing how prevalent. And look, this is upwards of 33% of the people diagnosed that are going to medical doctors with depression. Why they all cut? I mean, you go in, they all want to put you on antidepressants, and it's because we have symptoms. Mold and fungus. Now, this is not a recent study, but I've been since 1987 preaching fungus causes depression. And it's 20 years later they published this in the American Journal of Public Health. A link between mold and depression was found, and it was led by Brown University, because a lot of alternative therapists were saying, oh, fungus causes depression. And these guys were going to try and prove once and for all that it's bogus. You know, these alternative practitioners are out of their brains. But they actually set out to disprove the association between mold and depression, and they actually proved it was due to mold and fungus, which is kind of interesting. And the dangerous or toxic molds are those molds that produce mycotoxins. Candida is a toxic mold, and it produces mycotoxins. And these waste products released from the fungus and mold are known to cause allergic, emotional, depression, and fatigue, and other adverse health reactions to humans and animals. So if your dog acts depressed, it's probably got fungus. Fungal symptoms. Eye irritation, nose irritation, throat irritation, dermatitis, asthma, respiratory infections, other problems, including coughing up blood. Some of these are really nasty. Fever, flu-like symptoms, fatigue, dizziness, headaches, which is toxicity in the brain, diarrhea and constipation, vomiting, liver damage, impaired immune function. They actually found that fungus, when it gets in your system, it heads towards the thymus. And the reason why, the fungus knows you're going to fight it through your thymic cells, through your antibodies and different things. And so it heads there and suppresses your immune system through getting in the spleen and the thymus. And so it impairs the immune system that way. It's interesting, the fungus looks like dendrites. Do you guys know what dendrites are?
Yeah.
They're the brain cells that actually store memory, communicate things with the glial cells and the astral cells. They make what we call our consciousness. Now, we know it comes actually through the heart, but medical scientists say it comes through the dendrites. A lot of the people are saying a lot of our information comes through our solar plexus, because there's as many nerves in the solar plexus as there are in the brain. And they're finding the bacteria in our body. If we have good bacteria, we have good communication, good immune system. If we have bad bacteria and fungus, we have poor communication and suppression of our digestive processes. So these are some of the things that help for regrowing dendrites. This L-gut has lion's mane extract, which assists in killing off fungus, and it has nerve tissue growth factor that helps rebuild nerve cells. The amlodipine. My mom got severe Alzheimer's, and we put her on amlodipine and this other product from called Prevagen, and it comes from the jellyfish extract that actually helps jellyfish, be hyperactive, and it also has some nerve tissue growth factor. But both of those, when we used them on my mother and antifungals, we brought her brain back online, and she knows where she is. She doesn't get lost anymore, and my dad's happiest of all because he doesn't have to go find her. So anyway, this bee brain has the brain protomorphogens, which are things that help rebuild and regrow the brain cells. And so this is a good product also. And the #1 activator, the eye formula. The eye formula hits the occipital cortex, which actually involves hearing also. So if you're having difficulty with hearing, you've probably got fungus in your nerve fibers to the ears. And I found that the eyes get fungus in it also and degenerates. And if you take the eye formula, it helps with that, especially if you take antifungals with it. The GB pituitary pineal affects the midbrain and is very effective for helping regrow those. And I use this a lot because it helps with serotonin and melatonin production, as well as HGH, which is the anti-aging hormone, human growth hormone, and all of the other hormones that are precursors in the pituitary and pineal. So all these herbs help with regrowing dendrites. Getting rid of the fungus. Lion's mane, they found that the best antifungals come from fungus because they don't want to compete with other fungus. So this lion's mane extract actually is a very good antifungal. The #4 systemics is still one of the best antifungals. Innovida's Fungex. This Ocuvis from Innovida is very good for restoring the vision and the visual cortex, which again is the occipital cortex. The pituitin from Innovida helps regrow the pituitary and the pineal. Serologic is similar to B-Brain, but all of Innovida's products have vegetarian form codes, which actually help form amino acid sequences that help rebuild these organs. So very cool. And thyroid is usually involved because thyroid gets fungus in it. The fungus taps into all the cells and make it so you don't produce as much thyroid hormones. Now there's lots of different thyroid hormones. The doctors are primarily concerned with T3, and that's what they give you when they give you Synthroid, the levothyroxine. All it is T3, and you actually need T4, T2, and T1 also, which are the other thyroid hormones, and T3 uptake. And those are not in those formulas, but the herbal ones do have it, and the ecothyroid has all of those different hormones. So the thyroid has a lot to do with depression. Circulation in the brain, everybody's getting poor circulation due to these atypical infections and fungus. And the atypical bacteria cause a major problem. And I just went up to a conference and they were talking about cholesterol and how cholesterol actually goes up in the body when you have inflammation. And it actually acts to help keep your body alive. And so all these people who they're putting on statins to lower their cholesterol, they're actually lowering their response to inflammation, which is actually detrimental and causing a lot more of the autoimmune disorders to have even higher symptoms. So when your doctor puts you on a statin, it's actually increasing the inflammation because your body can't react through the cholesterol cycle. And cholesterol is very important. And so what they're finding now, and this is new stuff, the doctors probably won't agree with it for another 10 to 20 years, is that you need high cholesterol to help with your inflammatory response, but you actually should be dealing with what's causing the inflammation, and your cholesterol will lower naturally. And most of the time it's these dang atypical bacteria and fungus in your body that's causing inflammation. So removing inflammation helps with circulation. Removing toxins. They found Roundup has caused a huge increase in neurotoxicity and inflammation in the body. The toxins actually tox up the cells, and they're saying, oh, the enzyme, it doesn't harm the enzyme in the humans, But what they found, and I agree totally with this, is the toxic buildup within our body causes inflammation, causes our cells to react negatively and produce more toxins, and it decreases oxygenation because this glyphosate, which is Roundup, is a chemical that's just, they've got dioxin in it And who knows if Agent Orange isn't in there, and they're adding DDT again and 2,4-D and all these herbicides that were banned years ago by the EPA, the FDA, and the USDA are letting them bring them back, which is crazy because they think everybody's forgot about them. Well, I haven't forgot about them because they're still very high on the toxic list. And it's fascinating because they found particulate petrochemicals in the air is causing severe increases in reactions of skin and lungs and other problems. So we're getting more and more chronic inflammatory responses to all these petrochemicals. Sugars. Whenever you eat bad sugars, the fungus love you because you're feeding them. When you eat good sugars, you're actually increasing the good bacteria and helping get rid of fungus. So always choose good sugars. And if you don't know what they are, ask Jeanette, she knows. Anyway, anxiety and panic attacks, it's really interesting. We gave the lecture on allergies, was it last week? And it was so fascinating to find allergic reactions, which are serotonergic and adrenaline-induced and histamine-induced. They found that parasites and pathogens influence generalized anxiety and predation-related fear. It's like you're getting eaten by these parasites and you're intuitively going, what the heck, but our mind logically is going, oh, I'm just having a panic attack. Oh, I'm just having anxiety. And in reality, it's a reaction to these critters eating your body from the inside. So, yeah, kind of interesting. So getting rid of parasites, I've found, and I've done this for years, since I did my first parasite cleanse in 1987. I would go in and be ready to do surgery, and you have that adrenaline going, and sometimes you were just kind of shaky. Well, I found after I did my first parasite cleanse, I was steady as a rock. It was fascinating because I wasn't getting all of these anxiety hormones going. So anyway, they found, in these different things that there's a big relationship, and they're just the medical profession is just barely scratching the surface right now about parasites, and they're admitting they may be causing some of this. Panic attacks and anxiety, this Ronald Hoffman came out with this, and he said that parasites definitely cause panic attacks, and they cause adrenal fatigue, poor lymph flow, and problems with your liver. And flukes, Toxoplasmosis gondii, nematodes, whipworms, roundworms, pinworms all play a role in anxiety and panic attacks. If you have a little kid that's having night terrors, they've got parasites.
So, the police throughout the world increase their staff for the full moon. Now, why is that? The parasites are acting
Exactly. Everybody's a little crazier during the full moon because the parasites are more active.
Yeah. They don't know what the parasite's causing it, but they know they have to double up.
They have to double up on the full moon because the crazies come out, and the crazies have parasites. Anyway, this was interesting. I read this on the internet, and it says, how to destroy your parasites completely and permanently in 30 days or less. Biggest bullcrap statement I've ever read, because parasites can't be killed in 30 days or less. They just can't. Because if you take a parasite cleanse for 30 days, you'll feel better. But within another 30 days, the eggs will have hatched and you're back feeling crappy again. So
and
what
permanently.
What?
And permanently, like you're
yeah.
going to be exposed again?
Yeah, this is such a... I couldn't believe when I saw this ad. It was like, these guys don't even know what they're talking about, because and most people don't know how to treat parasites because of the egg factor, and because they don't realize if you stay on it, the eggs will never hatch. They won't hatch if they know they're going to be killed. So a lot of people think they can get their parasites gone fast. And I tell people right up front, it's going to take 3, 8, 12 cycles, whatever, and I pick in intuitively, I tune into their body, and I try to give them an estimate how long. I told a lady 2 days ago it's going to take 13 cycles. She's like, what? It's that long? And I'm like, yeah, if you want to totally get them out of your body, and that's if you don't get reinfected, so we better treat your husband too, you know. And so it's fascinating. The encysted eggs can resist most pharmaceuticals. This lady I talked to, she had taken 2 sets of Vermex, and her doctor says, oh, this always gets rid of them, you know. And the Vermex only actually kills the bugs in your gut. It doesn't kill the ones that have all infiltrated your body. And the other thing is that's interesting, Vermex is so highly toxic to the liver, it's worse than having the parasites because it's just extremely toxic. And she was quite surprised when I told her this information. She's like, you mean my doctor's giving me something toxic? And I'm like, yeah, and if you have leaky gut, those toxins get into your system and create even more problems. So, and they will not hatch if they are threatened to be killed. Mucus and membranes stop antiparasitic herbs and pharmaceuticals from working because the mucus surrounds these things. Our body actually will produce mucus around parasites to try and wall them off, keep them from spreading, and we'll even put a membrane around them. And that actually needs to be broken down so you can kill the parasites. What breaks mucus and the membranes down is, guess what? What do I put everybody on that I put on a parasite cleanse? Enzymes. Enzymes break the mucus down and the membranes down so the antiparasitics can get to the parasites. So there's meaning to my madness. The other thing it does is when the parasites die, it helps break down their bodies so you can eliminate them easier. And toxins released from the parasites and the mucus and all the other stuff needs to be cleared, so I always help people with putting them on. Usually we'll use TetraCleanse or Livenu or one of these products that help the organs of elimination get rid of the toxins. Now, depression can get worse when you're treating parasites because you have all these circulating toxins. And so I try to tell people, you know, you may feel a little worse before you get better. And it's not actually a Herxheimer reaction, it's more toxins. Herxheimer is more when you react severely to the die-off. And so the reason I like Hulda Clark's parasite cleanse is she starts at a very low dose and then builds up. And you know, I had this one lady say, oh, the internet says wormwood is toxic, it's a poison, you shouldn't use it, and all this crap. And the thing people don't realize is that wormwood is being used in lieu of chemotherapy in France for breast cancer because it gets rid of it, it kills it. And it's less toxic than the chemotherapy. So, you know, it's amazing the misinformation people will read on the internet and then they'll go, oh, I'm not going to take this. And it's like, oh, come on. It makes it difficult to get real truth out there. Assisting the liver, the kidneys, the colon, lymph to remove the toxins really helps out. Some people I've had to start them out on a detoxification program before we can even do a parasite cleanse because their body is so toxic. If you try killing the parasites, it just adds the toxin and they'll get really sick. So assisting the organs of elimination, which are these, to work better. The skin reflects what's going on in the liver. And so if your skin's having trouble, your liver's having trouble. So assisting that will help all of those. I use a lot of pumpkin seed oil, and the reason why it's anti-parasitic, but it's very good for repairing the skin, believe it or not, and the liver. So pumpkin seed oil is very beneficial. Going off the parasite cleanses for 10 to 30 days to allow the eggs to hatch, allow your organs to repair is really good. But during that, I'll usually put them on antifungals because if you've got parasites, you've got fungus. And so you repeat the cycles as many times as intuitively feels right. And quite frankly, I've done parasite cleansing since I was 29 years old, so for 28 years I've been doing parasite cleansing. And the wormwood hasn't killed me. In fact, it's made me feel better, which is good because I use the wormwood most of the time because flukes hate wormwood. It kills them. Go ahead.
I just want to share a real quick, because my husband bought a use them now. And it's just a simple parasite cleanse that you do for 9 days, along with all of this. But you take 9 seeds a day, chew them up. And you want to clean out your papaya.
Of the papaya.
And yeah, of the papaya, and put it in the refrigerator. And then 9 seeds a day, you chew them up for 9 days. And that's supposed to help kill parasites. Well, you heard that one?
Yeah. There, a lot of the seeds of many plants have antiparasitic substances in them. And the reason why is these seeds lay on the ground, parasites try to get them, and when they start burrowing in, the hull of the seed, just like the black walnut seed, is very antiparasitic. And the reason the plants do that is they want to survive, because if the parasite gets in there and eats the inner part of the seed, the plant doesn't survive. So yes, there's more than just papaya. There's lots of different seeds. Apricots have one of the strongest antiparasitic natural substance called B17 or Laetrile. And it was banned by the U.S. government because it was curing too many cancers and very non-toxic. People were doing really well on it. And so in the spring, when the apricots come on, I love eating apricots because it makes me feel better, because even the outside the fruit has some Laetrile in it. And it's in smaller quantities, but it works.
How long can you store those seeds and sell them good? I mean, if there's in the kernel?
Yeah, cool, dark place is the most important. If it gets too warm, fungus starts eating in it and starts changing the chemicals. They stick their little tentacles in. They're called hyphae, and they start changing things and using enzymes.
So how long is it before?
I would use them up within a year. If you let them sit for 3 or 4 years, they're just not as potent, and you might as well get fresh.
Thank you.
Okay.
It acts as a preservative too. The Laetrile. You put that in anything.
Good grief.
Yeah, almond milk. Yeah, I left my bowl out all day the other day. Went to work and came back and was like, oh my God, it was perfect.
Most people need between 3 to 24 cycles. 3 is the minimum I usually put people on for parasites, because you can get about 98% of the eggs within that amount. If you've had parasites for a long time, 3 cycles will only get about half of the eggs, and so you got to keep going. So the longer you've had the parasites, the deeper they're in your tissues, the deeper they lay their eggs in your tissues, and so it takes a while. Parasites and fungus suppress the immune system, the glands and the organs to survive. All these need to be rebuilt and repaired. So
if you're doing a continual cycle of parasite cleanses, do you have to start from the low amount and build up again each time?
if I'm using Hulda Clark's, I do. But if I'm using like the Pro-Vermifuge or some other parasite cleanses, it depends on the person. I try to individualize it so they'll be the least sick possible and get the most benefit. So that's where intuition is really good.
Yeah.
Do you need, when you go from 3 to 24 cycles, do you need to change the different types?
I do,
that,
yes.
So that you get some in this round and then it gets the one that resisted that.
Yes, there are different parasite cleanses. I use a lot of Hulda Clark's just because it treats 110 of the most common parasites in humans, and that's the wormwood, the cloves, and the black walnut tincture. Now there's this parasite that has a combination of herbs and homeopathics that kill parasites, so occasionally this will test really good. Dr. Christopher's herbal parasite cleanse is very good, but I found his can also have some reactions to it. The products from Innovita, the Microcyte and the Paramat, they test really good a lot of times. That's these 2 products. One's for microcytic circulating parasites, and this one's for internal parasites in the abdominal cavity. This works really good for flukes, but flukes that have actually got into the body, you have to get these into the body to make them get rid of the parasites. So I often will use this WO oil, which is antiparasitic and antifungal. I use a lot of this stuff. Now, the other thing that works really good to get the herbs inside the body is frankincense. So I put a lot of people on frankincense because this opens up the blood-brain barrier, helps get the herbs into the body to treat them. So there's a lot of different things. The Systemic company came out with 4 formulas, VRM 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these are specific for different bugs. The BRM1 treats nematodes. I think I've got a slide with this. So yeah, there it is. Very next one. Cestoda and nematodes. BRM1 is the nematode. Cestoda is BRM2. Protozoans and amoebas, BRM3. Flukes, Traumatoda, BRM4. These critters are smart. They can develop resistance. And so that's why we change them around, as she was saying, you know. Don't always take the same parasite cleanse, because you do need to give variety so you stop them from getting resistance. When they came out with the movie The Secret, they said how when your mind puts an intention into your cells for 42 days, you keep doing the mantra for 42 days, thinking the thought, it actually alters the cells. So when you have the 2 daughter cells, if you do it for 42 days, the daughter cells are different because of your thoughts. Well, what I found is the same thing with parasites and fungus. If you stay on the same antiparasitic for 42 days, those parasites actually will mutate, become resistant. And so what you want to do is switch up and not give any one thing more than like 30 days, so we stay away from the full 42 days, which is 6 weeks. And so I change up things. Even herbs, taking the same herb all the time doesn't work as well because your body gets used to it. And so it's good to switch things up. Even switch your multivitamin, even switch, you know, your minerals up occasionally, because they work better if you do. And then when you go back to the old one, it works better. Okay, always consider heavy metal detoxing and getting rid of petrochemicals. Because we're living in such a toxic world, we all have petrochemicals, we all have heavy metals, and it's good to clean those out, keep them low in your body, and you're actually healthier. I felt the best I felt my whole life. My brain IQ went up 10 points when I was chelating out heavy metals. And I still, if I start feeling my brain get a little foggy, if I'll do some deep cleansing, some getting those petrochemicals and the heavy metals out, my memory comes back, my IQ comes back, I start remembering names again. You know, those little things that are signs that our nervous system isn't working properly. Chlorella, very good detoxer. The biggest study ever on radiation poisoning done by the United States government was in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You don't hear much about Nagasaki because all the people died, and they don't really say much about it. But all the people in Hiroshima received chlorella, and a lot of them survived and did well with the radiation poisoning. So chlorella is a very beneficial thing to take internally, and it's very detoxing. It makes your breath smell better, your poop smell better, all kinds of stuff. Okay, yeah, if you want that to smell better. Anyway, reducing the inflammation is so important. And what did we talk about? You know, the docs are giving us these dang statins. Gets rid of the cholesterol, which is actually helping with the inflammation. And so they found giving statin drugs increases the visits to the doctors, believe it or not, because they develop these chronic inflammatory diseases. So it's so interesting. The whole cholesterol thing is a myth created by the pharmaceutical industry to sell drugs. And the biggest selling drug ever is levastatin, which is no, not Zocor. It's the one by Pfizer. Lipitor. Lipitor has generated more money for Pfizer than any other drug. It's amazing, and it's useless, and actually induces more inflammation. They found astaxanthin reduces inflammation, especially in the nervous system. So if you've got some nervous system irritability and stuff, chronic inflammation, astaxanthin, at least 20 to 30 milligrams a day is really good for you. Astaxanthin naturally occurs in salmon oil. So you're getting your omega-3s plus you're getting some astaxanthin. That's why salmon oil doesn't degrade as fast as other omega-3s, other fish oils. It doesn't go rancid as easy because of the astaxanthin in it, which is very cool. Okay. It also reduces depression, fatigue, and anxiety, reducing that inflammation. Sugar causes inflammation. And so the high fructose corn syrup, they found, increases inflammation and increases damage to your nervous system and your liver. And that's why it causes leptin resistance. Leptin is your satisfaction, satiety hormone that helps you not feel like you got to eat all the time. When you get fructose, it causes you to crave more food. Okay. Good fats and bad fats. If you use good fats, they actually reduce inflammation. Coconut oil is being found to be one of the most beneficial oils, and yet it underwent its saga of the medical profession say it's bad for you, and yet it's very good for you. It's also antifungal. It's got caprylic acid and other substances that help fight fungus. Olive oil, flax oil, nuts and nuts butters, flaxseed, except the flax is becoming genetically modified, and genetically modified products actually increase inflammation because they've got all this viral material, different substances in that aren't natural. Wheat germ is becoming more tainted with different chemicals and GMOs. It's interesting. Monsanto said they hadn't genetically modified wheat, and there's actually coming out articles that they started genetically modifying the wheat back in 1992 and released it, and it's been, the pollen's been going all over the place.